Hello, welcome. I'm David, your home repair coach. Today we are going to be wrapping up our series on regluing loose wobbly dining room chairs by sticking the seat back on this chair. And there will be one little bonus video after this I'll show you for a little something extra to help these chairs last a little longer. But once we get this done, this chair will be fully functional. And so you can see we've got this particle board bottom, not my favorite. A few of these screw holes look nice and tight. Some of these look like they stripped out, they're pulled down. Presumably somebody was lifting this chair by its front. And of course particle board doesn't hold very well. Our cross braces that screw into the seat are recessed enough that this bump might not be too much of a thing, but this one's getting a little high, and other chairs you deal with might be a little different. So I'll just get this knife blade to sit back in here, right? What's up with that? And there we go. So we'll take a little bit off of it. We're gonna try not to like crumble it all out and make a huge crater, but sometimes you're pretty limited. There's just so much stuff missing. Yeah, see, as soon as I start cutting even a fresh blade, that all is just wobbling away. Not ideal. So what I'm gonna do there, I'm gonna fill these front ones with some toothpicks. And this is something you do a lot of other cases where holes are stripped out. You'll see me doing this on door hinges that are loose, and cabinet hinges, things like that. Usually I shove the toothpicks in and then snap them off or cut them with a knife, but I found that one of these chair bottoms actually, from when somebody had fixed it before, the hole went all the way through the seats. When I shoved them down, the toothpicks were they weren't punching through the cloth, but you can feel them. So I don't really want to do that. And I just put a little bit of this in here. It kind of acts almost as a wedge. And we could add some wood glue, but I don't think it's really critical. There's a lot of friction and pressure from the screws themselves. So we'll just leave this down here flat. And you can put the screws in through these holes, but usually it's a little better to do it this way. And then the first one or two screws are usually a little bit easier because you can kind of lift the chair bottom up and see that you're lined up with the hole. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe the smart thing would be to do the back here where you got these really nice tight holes with no play to them, so that when I start tightening that down, it really locks those in place. Hold it right there, and we'll just start tightening this down a little bit. Not going to quite go all the way. I kind of make sure it's in there, but we still have a little bit of play for the other chairs. Forgot to pull a little bit of this blue tape off of here too. And then, actually with the cloth, I can't see very well on that one. So maybe I'll do that one last. And slide these little, somebody had washers on here. I'm kind of thinking these were not the original screws, but I'm not 100% sure. And they are doing the job. They're the right length, so we're going to go with them. And this actually I can see, with these chairs, I can see underneath the cross braces and see we're in the right spot there. Keep forgetting about that. It makes this a little easier, because sometimes you end up doing this almost just by feel. And that feels like it's still spinning even with those toothpicks in there. What's up with that? Thing must just be so crumbled away. And there are other things you can do to fill these, but this is by far the simplest, and usually it's plenty strong. But you can always, there's threaded inserts, or you can put bigger screws in here, stuff like that. Still didn't feel like it tightened down. Oh, it didn't tighten down at all. Thing is like completely stripped out, even with, oh, you know what though, I might not have gotten the new toothpicks far enough down. to go into the seat. I think they're just sitting there. I think they're just sitting in this hole. Yeah, that one came back up. So let's get a full-length toothpick here. Two of them, maybe. I'll get those down in there. Not at all a fan of particle board, but that's what there is. And the one thing we do have going for us too is these, you know, in some ways it's not quite as critical a structural component. The weight on it is usually going all the way down. But people do tend to grab them and move them by the seats too, so we want them tightened down well if we can. Push those down in there a little bit. I think they're all the way in. Felt like we got a little bit of grab there. Nope. Wow, that is really, truly, completely stripped out. What's the deal here? What is the deal here? Okay. I don't know if I've ever had this much hassle getting these set back down in here. I think I'll just try to keep cramming more toothpicks into this thing till it wedges it shut. It's probably just so chewed up that as I'm driving the screw in, the stuff's just crumbling away around it. It's not even just a question that the hole is too wide. It's a question of it just keeps breaking apart. Be my guess. I could be wrong, but I don't know what else that would be. So, cram a few more screws in there. Put these washers back on here. This is why I think that it wasn't the original. They got all these little washers on here, little tiny guys, and I'm putting those on there because these look like they're pretty close to too long. I'm betting if I leave the washers off, these things will be poking through the far side, and we definitely don't want that. Which is why I really should have put these in a bag and taped them to the chair instead of sitting them on my workbench. I mean, that was cranking a little bit. It looked like it started sucking it down. Okay, there we go. We finally got enough in there. So, that's a particularly bad one. We're still able to fix it, just putting toothpicks in there. And I'm kind of checking by lifting up on this, but you do get a little bit of a feel for the drill, the impact driver. You can kind of feel it sucking it down tight there. A little hard to say exactly what I'm trying to say there, but you can kind of feel it go. I mean, definitely if you put it in there and it's just like the screw keeps spinning, instead of eventually the drill will just work harder and harder, and it'll just won't tighten it anymore even with the impact. But if it goes all the way in and the screw just keeps spinning freely, even if the impact's clicking a little bit, that usually means it's not getting a good hold of something. Sometimes though it's a little bit in between. And I felt like you got a pretty good hold. Harder to say though, because the other one's already on there, so you know it won't pop up if I'm lifting on it. And it looks like I'm actually missing one of the washers in there after all. So that's what I get for not stashing these properly when I took it apart. So let's see here. So from the brace, it'll have about that much, and then we'll have that much. It's going to be pretty close. We'll try it nice and slow here. I don't think it'll break through the cushion and really do major damage. It just might be able to feel it through there. I think we're going to be good. Just kind of feeling underneath. There we go. We should be all done with this chair. One little bonus thing, as I said, you can do. Show you that in a minute. But really, these are completely usable as is. We got this, I should take the tape off, but we got this all the way pulled back apart, all the way re-glued back together with some good solid West Systems epoxy, and this thing should be good to go for a very long time. Hard to say exactly how long a chair will hold, but I would definitely think you could get 10 years out of this without much trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if you get 20 plus, but chairs do all vary a little bit. And this is somebody else's chair, so it could be that they'll be using it a little harder as well. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe. I'm David, your home repair coach. We'll see you in a little bit for the bonus video, and we have some other types of chairs we'll be showing you as well, and a whole other variety of projects and tool videos as well.